Fandom, how's it going? Today we are reviewing Netflix's Daredevil Season 1. Let's get into it. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review, so if you have not seen Daredevil, aka Red Batman, aka my favorite superhero, what are you doing? Go watch the Netflix show. It is awesome. It's one of the best TV shows that is out this year. I'm going to give you my rating ahead of time, and then I'm going to delve into spoiler talk. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 Billy Clubs. I think it's fantastic. Vincent D'Onofrio is intimidating as can be. They cast Matt Murdock perfectly. I love the show. Foggy's great. Karen Page is great. Really, just some minor quibbles aside that I'm going to get into a little bit later. But overall, great. And now, let's get into some spoilers. Still here? Awesome. Let's talk about Charlie Cox, aka Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock. He is awesome. They did perfect casting on him right from the beginning when the show starts out and you're seeing him do his like ninja moves and everything, and he's taking care of those guys on the docks. It reminded me instantly of Batman Begins, and I thought, okay, are these guys kind of taking a page out of the Batman Begins book where they're handling the situation in the docks? Speaking of which, of Batman Begins, I really love the fact that Daredevil throughout this series didn't have the "get over here," you know, that little raspy voice that Batman had, because that really could have thrown me off and taken me out of the story real quick. I thought, great, he's talking normally. There were a few times where he would kind of, you know, deepen his voice a little bit to kind of change it around people that maybe know him, but they never went to that excessive length that the Nolan Batman films went, where there were certain times where I was like, does Batman smoke like 10 menthol cools a day? I think what was really interesting also is that you get a sense of who Matt Murdock is throughout the series, that he's got kind of this swagger about him, that he can kind of woo the ladies a little bit, but at the same time, he's also got this insane amount of Catholic guilt and this insane burden that he's carrying with him. And you do get that sense of, yeah, this guy is awesome, he's really cool, he'd be awesome to hang around with, but there's some deep-rooted issues that he's dealing with personally, and this Daredevil persona is kind of a way of him letting himself out and letting himself kind of be free and to deal with crime and let some of that anger outside of it. And we see a lot of that anger inside of those boxing scenes where he's hitting the bag and he's really mad and he's just letting his frustration out. You're like, okay, this guy's got some serious issues going on. Well, it's great that they cast Daredevil and they nailed it. The show would really not be anything if they did not nail Foggy, because Daredevil and Foggy are like this throughout the series. They are best friends, and if they just kind of portrayed Foggy as this schlub, as this guy that's incompetent, that would have been the completely wrong way to go about with this character. Foggy is portrayed in this series by Eldon Henson, better known as one of the Bash brothers from Mighty Ducks. Seriously, if you've never seen Mighty Ducks, what are you doing? I'm sorry, you probably didn't have a childhood. But he portrays him fantastically. You get the sense that Foggy is intelligent. He's kind of got also his own swagger going on, especially when he hooks up with his ex-girlfriend Marcy, which, oh my gosh, Foggy, good job, man. And one of the key things that you need to know about Foggy is that he is a better lawyer than Matt. And they actually show that in this series. And it would have been a really easy route for them to kind of push Foggy to the background and say, yeah, Foggy, he's more of comic relief, he's not that great of a lawyer or anything like that. No. If you cross Foggy, he will take you to law school. The guy knows his stuff about the law, and he will put you down, and we see that multiple times throughout the entire series. I think one of the absolute best episodes of the series is Nelson versus Murdock, where we see Foggy and Matt finally hash it all out when Foggy discovers that Matt is actually Daredevil, and it really just breaks Foggy's heart. You feel for the character because Foggy has gone through everything with Matt. They went through college, they opened up this law firm, they're dealing with so much stress, so many things going on, and dealing with Kingpin and the corruption in Hell's Kitchen, and really it just breaks him down as a person, and you're just going, man, I do see where he's coming from. Matt's been lying to him through all these years, and Foggy just had to find out about it in this shocking way. So Ben Urich, let's pour one out. Did you have to kill him? Did you really? Ben Urich? Out of all the characters on the TV show, and all the ones that died, you killed Ben Urich on the first season? It was literally one of those moments that had me going, oh my gosh, they're not holding back on this. So I understand from a story standpoint why they ended up killing Ben Urich in the first season, but still, what happens is that you're kind of closing yourself off to a lot of potential inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ben Urich is basically Matt Murdock's Commissioner Gordon. He's the one that feeds him information, the one that finds stuff for him. And I'm kind of wondering if that police officer that we saw at the end of this season that kind of gave Matt Murdock's name to the paper, or we're assuming that he gave his name to the newspaper for Daredevil, is the one that's going to be taking Ben Urich's place as kind of his sidekick throughout the series. I think that's where they're going to head in the next season. But really, it was one of those shocking moments where you built up this character so well, and I understand from a story standpoint why it is that you would kill him off, and it's to show a point that, yeah, anybody in this series can go. It was just one of those moments that had me going, oh my gosh. So let's talk about the big guy himself, Vincent D'Onofrio, aka Kingpin, who I'm going to tell you right now, if this man is not nominated for a Golden Globe or any of those fancy Heidi-Twitty awards by next year, the man was robbed. Hands down, robbed. The guy killed it. He was intimidating, he was scary, and at the same time, you get where he's coming from. In every single scene that Vincent D'Onofrio shows up, in every single scene that involves the Kingpin, his presence is felt. In the beginning scene, early on in the season, where Matt actually meets Wilson Fisk for the first time in the art museum, and they see each other eye to eye, basically, you're going, oh man, it is about to pop off right here. It is intimidating. It is one of my favorite scenes out of the whole season, where Matt is just gripping onto his cane, and you're going, is he gonna hit him right now? Because it looks like this is about to go down right here in the middle of this museum. What was really great about his character also is that they gave him a whole episode, I believe it was episode 8, where they fleshed out his backstory involving his father, and how his father was kind of crooked as well, and he was teaching him about power, and how you sit here, you sit in this chair, stare at this white wall, and you think of the man you want to become. It's really a moment that resonates throughout the whole episode, even until the last shot where you see Kingpin sitting inside of his prison cell just staring at a blank wall, and he's wearing his white outfit that you are hoping you see the whole season. And it's really interesting because his outfit goes gradually throughout the entire season. He starts out with a solid black. He meets Vanessa, who she is wearing also a white outfit, and slowly his outfits and his colors start to change as he becomes the Kingpin who we know. And Vanessa's clothing outfit also changes from the white color to the black that she wears at the end of the season. So it's really cool how they kind of try to match that in with the progression of the whole season. I've really dug that aspect of it, and it shows Vanessa's influence on Kingpin, because yes, Vanessa is the one that keeps him in line, but in some ways Vanessa is also Kingpin's greatest weakness. And the Owl even mentions that throughout the season when they try to poison Vanessa, and you're getting this feeling that the Owl knows what's going on, that Vanessa's pushing Kingpin to do certain things. So let's talk about some of the Easter eggs in this bad boy, more specifically Iron Fist, because there is a lot of stuff that deals with Iron Fist in this season, and they're setting up a lot of things for him that I hope come to pay off a lot later, mainly in episode 7, the one that deals with Stick. The biggest hint to Iron Fist has to come at the end of episode 7. At the end of episode 7, what you see is that you have Stick, who he's come back to Matt after 20 years of leaving him alone, and he's basically saying, help me out, there's this thing called Black Sky. Now at the end of the episode, Stick takes out Black Sky, who turns out to be a little kid, in an off-camera scene, which was kind of weird, but I understand why they would go that route, because even though this is on Netflix and it is a more harder, edgier TV show, it is still a Marvel property, so I could kind of see where Marvel maybe had come down on him and said, do it off camera, don't let us see it. But you see Stick sitting down with this guy, and he's got all these scars on his back, and it leaves you wondering, who is that guy? Turns out the guy who he's talking to is named Stone, and you find this out if you look inside of the credits and you see, oh, there's the name Stone. And Stone is basically a member of this organization called The Chase, and The Chase is basically this group of people that they are meant to take down the Hand. And the Hand is basically this evil organization that are full of ninjas that is bent on basically like world domination and all that evil stuff. In the comics, Stone is also a pupil of Stick, so it's kind of interesting to see that maybe Stick is reporting to him, so maybe they're kind of changing that around, and Stone is actually the leader of the Chase. And it's also interesting that Stick says he won't be ready for when the gates open, and that could mean a lot of things really, but one of the things that I'm inclined to speculate is that the gates of Iron Fist home come along. Another little nod to Iron Fist is definitely Madame Gao. And Madame Gao, throughout the entire season, you get this impression that she's this old lady who's running this criminal organization. You know, she's stamping all of these heroin packets with the Steel Serpent, which is, again, another reference to Iron Fist because it is the symbol of a villain of Iron Fist. And then you find out, no, Madame Gao can kick ass. She lays a palm on Matt Murdock that just leaves him. There's speculation online that Madame Gao is actually the Crane Mother, who is a villain in Iron Fist mythology and the leader of this place called Kunzi. Now, this is also backed up by the fact that Wesley asked Madame Gao, "So are you going to China?" She says, "No, I'm going to someplace even farther." It's a little bit of a nod, and anybody who is an Iron Fist fan is kind of starting to connect the dots at the beginning of this series and going, okay, maybe there's little hints of mysticism placed throughout this series after all. There are literally a ton more of these Easter eggs scattered throughout the entire series that I could just go on and on about, but for now, let's talk about some of the bad things about the show that didn't necessarily work for me, and this is why I'm kind of giving it the 9.5 out of 10. While I absolutely adored the fight scenes, there were a few times where I kind of noticed, that punch didn't kind of connect, that kick didn't really connect, and it's something that could have been handled maybe with a little bit of better editing. There were just a little bit scenes here, but like I said, these complaints really are just me reaching, and I mean really reaching to find something wrong with the series, because for the most part, I thought the series for me was about as perfect as can be. The red suit, don't really love it. It grew on me for the 13 minutes that we did see it in this season, and I love the fact that they showed the billy clubs at the end of it. That was really cool. But the red suit is something that I was like, it does not really work for me. I get it from a practical standpoint, what they were going for, that he should have something that's protecting himself. They mentioned it throughout the entire season. It's like, look, dude, you need something to protect yourself, and it just, you're getting your ass handed to you. You need something that's gonna take the blows for you, and you do see at the end of it that there is a purpose for it when Kingpin's bashing him with the billy club and the red suit is kind of blocking those hits. That was really a good show of, yeah, this is why he has this in the first place. But as a suit, I do not really love it, and I really would have liked to have seen, the DDs. I really would have liked to have seen those. That would have been really cool if they just, put the symbol here or something like that. Maybe next season, you never know, maybe they'll pull like an arrow or something like that where they keep changing the suit throughout the seasons, and it'll progressively get to where I would like to see it. But they built it up so much throughout the 13 episodes where you're like, oh, they're going to show the suit now, oh, they're going to show it now, they're going to show it now. And then when we do get it at the end of it, it's kind of like, okay, well, there's the suit. Minor complaints aside, this is exactly what I wanted from my favorite superhero, and you have to imagine that the writer's room at Gotham and the writer's room at Arrow had to have been watching this and going, this really is the game changer that we've been waiting for TV. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has done great, Arrow's done great, a bunch of those other TV shows have done great, but none of them have really come close to what Daredevil has done here. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, 9.5 billy clubs out of 10, and I cannot wait for season 2. So excited for it. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I do weekly reviews of trade paperbacks, hardcovers, comics, and all that good stuff. Check out some of my other videos. You guys are awesome as always. And I'm going to ask you real quick, what was your favorite moment in the Daredevil TV show? Comment down below in the description. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. That's all going to be in the description right there. You guys are awesome as always. Thank you very much. Love to hear back from you.